welcome back to Akshata's recipes. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's recipe is a mixed vegetable recipe in which I'm going to be using quite a few veggies which are available in the markets now, and they look so beautiful and they are delicious, and they also say that the more colorful your dishes, it's more healthy for you. So I've incorporated a lot of veggies today. That's the best way to get our family members to eat all the veggies possible. So this is a super simple recipe. Now I've got many queries from many beginners who are just starting to cook as to Akshata, can you show us also how you prep all these vegetables? So I've left that at the fag end of the video. So once the recipe is over, I will show you how I've chopped up all my vegetables. Basically today I'm going to be using carrots, cauliflower, French beans, and quite a few vegetables. So I'm going to show you how I clean the vegetables, how I get them prepped up for the recipe, as well as how I make my ginger garlic paste for this recipe and other things too. So stick around to the end of the recipe to see how I prep up the veggies. So let's just jump straight ahead into today's recipe. So let's see the recipe. So here in a pan, I've taken about 2 tablespoons of oil. Once the oil is nice and hot on a low to medium flame, I'm going to add my ginger garlic paste. I'm going to fry the paste well till you get the aroma of the ginger and garlic. Now we're going to add our chopped up green chilies. We're going to fry the chilies well too. This will nicely flavor the oil. Now we're going to add our onion. Now we're going to fry the onion till it is nice and translucent. Once that is done, we're going to add our chopped up cauliflower. And I like to cut them into small florets. And we're going to retain and use the leaves too. Never discard the leaves of the cauliflower. Always use them. Now we're going to saute the cauliflower a bit, and then we're going to add the carrots. I like using the orange carrots rather than the reddish carrots. Now we're just going to add in our green peas and our French beans. Now we're going to fry all of this well, let them get flavored with the ginger garlic and the green chilies. We're going to add some turmeric or haldi powder. One, it is for color, and the other, it has many health benefits. Now we're going to add our dhania, coriander powder, garam masala, jeera powder, and kashmiri red chilli powder. We're going to mix everything very, very well together so that all of the veggies get coated with these masalas. And that really enhances the flavor of this dish. Now we're going to add some salt to taste and also a pinch of sugar. Again, we're going to mix everything well. Now we're just going to add about half a cup of water, and we're going to let the veggies cook in this water. We're going to also add our tomato puree. Now we're going to stir everything well together, and then we're going to cover and cook this for about 5 minutes or till your cauliflower is nice and cooked. So to check that, all you have to do is just take one cauliflower and just pierce it down with your hand or fingers, and you'll come to know that the cauliflower is cooked. And there it is, friends. Our lovely cauliflower and green peas curry, or you can call it a mixed vegetable curry, is all ready. Now, like I promised you in the beginning, I'm going to show you how I prepped up all the veggies, because I've got so many requests to show how do we prep up all these veggies. So there are many beginners who want to learn that. Now for the carrot, I like to use these baby carrots which are orange in color, and wash the carrots well, and then just using a regular peeler, we're going to peel off the skin. Now we're going to cut the tips of the carrot, and then I'm going to cut the carrot right in the center. Then I'm going to chop this again into halves. And then you will see this little lighter orange kind of thing in the middle. So it's always good to remove that. I don't know whether how far this is true, but I've heard that if you eat that, it causes pitta or kind of an acidity. So you should never use the center of the carrot. So always get rid of the center. And then we're just going to hold all the 4 pieces together, and we're going to chop them up into, you can cut them even finer because that will help, and then just hold them together in this fashion. And I'm using a serrated knife because it's really sharp and it helps to cut the vegetables really nicely. Always use a sharp knife, and then just chop them up into these into small bits like this. Now I've kept a plate ready, so I'm going to transfer all my veggies as I prep them up into a plate. You can also keep separate little bowls for each of the veggies. Prepping takes a longer time than cooking for most recipes, but you need to prep well. Now for the cauliflower. Now I'm using a cauliflower. You should always buy, a cauliflower which really looks fresh, which is really white in color, where the florets really look nice and fresh. Never buy a cauliflower which is, discolored or it looks really bad. It should look very fresh and nice. Now I've soaked this cauliflower in a tub of water with some salt added for about at least 15 to 20 minutes, and then I've also rinsed it very well. Now we're going to separate the stalk from the floret. We're going to use the leaves, so just tear off the leaves with your hands in this fashion. And then what we're going to do after separating the leaves is we're going to take each of the floret, again remove the stalk part of it, and then we're going to cut the florets into really small bits. So like, for example, this particular floret, it has a small little stalk, so we're going to get rid of that stalk, and we're just going to chop it up into smaller bits like this. That way it looks pretty too, and it's easier to eat. So again, just chop them up into pieces which you can, manage this way. Again, remove the stalk in this fashion. And then again, just chop them into smaller florets. Now, one tip I'd like to give you here, if you plan as to what you're going to be cooking during the week and you know that you need all these veggies, you can prep them up and you can keep them in little glass containers or little steel containers. Don't use plastic. And keep them in your refrigerator. You can use them to make soups. You can make them, use them for any vegetables. So if you prep them up, then they're really just ready for you to use. So when you're buying cauliflower, always go for the smaller cauliflowers. Don't go for very large cauliflowers, and go for they should look very appealing to you. They should look very fresh and white. It shouldn't be yellow or brown. It shouldn't be looking limp. So even if you just touch the cauliflower, you can make out that the florets are nice and taut, and that's the way to come to know that it's fresh. And also the leaves should look nice and green. Now we come to the French beans or the farasbi. So I'm using about, roughly 10. I've washed them well. Again, I've soaked them in some water with some salt added for some time. Then I've washed it well. Now we're going to remove the tips. Now with French beans, when you break off the ends of the French bean, you will see that sometime when you're tearing it off, there's a string that comes off with it. So you can remove the string too. So as you tear on top, sometimes you get a string, sometimes you don't. I guess when the French beans are fresher, there's not much of a string, but if they're a little bit older, you'll get a thicker string. So whenever you're buying vegetables, always look at the color of the vegetables. They should really look nice and fresh. They should not feel limp when you buy them. They should not look stale. And if you can buy your veggies, either the previous evening or the same day when you're going to make it, it's much better than rather storing them in your refrigerator for many days and then using it. I mean, it all depends upon how accessible your vegetable market is to you and how much time you have on hand, of course. But buying veggies fresh every day, or at least just the previous evening, the vegetables, that they're really fresh. Now just hold them all together as it's convenient to you, and again, using that sharp knife, just chop them up into small pieces. So now that our French beans also are prepped up, we're going to transfer that to our plate. Now the next thing is we're going to be using are some green peas. Now I had already cleaned a bunch of green peas and kept them in my refrigerator just the day before. But basically what you have to do is when you get the French bean, the green peas, they come like this. All you have to do is just tear off the pod like this, and you just take off the green peas. So that's really very simple. Again, use fresh green peas whenever possible. Now the ginger and garlic paste. Here I have my ginger. I've washed it well. I'm taking just about half an inch. And using my little cheese grater here, I'm just going to use the grater and grate the ginger. You can also do it in your mixer pot, or you can just smash it up in your mortar pestle. I have a recipe for homemade ginger garlic paste. I will leave a link below. And then I've just taken about 5 cloves of garlic, and I have grated it too. Now another tip over here is you can always buy your garlic, peel it and keep it, store it so that whenever you require it, it's ready at hand, rather than peeling them every time. Whenever you're watching your favorite serial or movie, you can just sit with some garlic in your hand and just peel them and keep them ready. The same with green peas. So now my ginger garlic paste is ready. I'm just going to put it into my plate. Now we require 2 light green chilies. So I've washed the chilies, I've cut up the tips again, and I'm going to just cut them very, very fine. Now, whenever you're cutting or chopping something, give your full attention to it. Otherwise, you might just, cut yourself. So be very attentive. Keep your fingers like a little bit, away from the knife always. Now here I've taken 1 tomato, I've washed it well, chopped the head of it or the tip, and I've just cut it into big cubes, and I'm going to just blend it in my mixer pot to a fine puree. So I'll transfer this to a small bowl and keep it aside. Now I'm going to be using 1 medium-sized onion. Again, I've washed the onion well. We're going to take off the tips, and then we're going to peel off the onion. The peel comes off very easily like this. And this is the white part. They say you shouldn't eat that, so take that off too, always. I just love these little red onions. They're so pretty and they really have a lovely flavor. And then you're just going to chop these like this. Slice them first. You see how I'm moving my fingers a little away from the knife, and then turn it around and chop it like this, and then like this. So first slice them like this, then turn it around to the other side. Take your own time when you're chopping. Just be careful. I hope you like today's delicious mixed vegetable bhaji or mixed vegetable recipe. I'm sure you're going to give it a try and get your family members and yourself, of course, to eat more healthy and to eat all the lovely vegetables that we have that has been bestowed upon us by nature. So if you like today's recipe, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up by clicking the thumbs up icon that you see just below this video. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed, just log into your Google account. If you don't have one, just open a Gmail account, log into Google and or to YouTube. It's the same login, and just subscribe to my channel. Once you have subscribed, a little bell icon will show up. Click that bell, because that way whenever I put up a new video or I'm live streaming where you can catch up with me and chat with me, you'll get a message for the same. So on that note, I'll end this video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay fit, be kind and loving to one another. And I'll say bye for today, but I'll catch you in my next video sooner than you think. This is Akshata signing off. Bye.